SeizeYourBusiness.com podcast with Tony Rourke and Kevin O'Flaherty.
Welcome to the SeizeYourBusiness.com podcast, coming to you from our speakeasy in lovely downtown Downers Grove, Illinois. Our guest today is Ken Ebersold from Ebersold Inc. Our hosts are Kevin O'Flaherty from O'Flaherty Law and myself, Tony Rourke from ADR Business Resource Group. We invite you to check out our website, SeizeYourBusiness.com, where you can listen to our podcast archive, view videocasts, download our ebooks, and read blog articles that distill the best action points from each of our episodes. Also from our website, you can connect with us on social media, and please feel free to email us comments, questions, or topics that you would like to see addressed in future episodes. We will do our best to promptly respond to any and all emails that we receive. You can also sign up for our email list to get immediate access to our newest content. If you find this podcast helpful, or if you just want to help us out, we would appreciate it if you would review us on iTunes or share our podcast on social media. So without further ado, I'll hand this off to Kevin.
Ken, thanks so much for joining us today. We appreciate your time.
Thanks for having me.
Why don't you start by just telling us a little bit about your business?
Our business, Ebersold Incorporated, was actually founded by my grandfather in 1932, October 17th to be exact, in 1932. And he founded the business because at the height of the Depression, the firm he was working at in Chicago cut everybody's salary in half. And he decided after working there a while for half pay that he could go out on his own and certainly make as much as they were paying him and be his own boss. So that's when Fred H. Ebersold Inc. Advertising was founded. In turn, was the same time as Leo Burnett, Leo Burnett is probably the most well-known advertising agency in Chicago. They were founded in 1932 as well. So he founded the firm as an industrial advertising agency, and he incorporated doing the ads and marketing for many businesses throughout Chicago and the area, and in turn did printing for our clients, and in turn incorporated promotional products into direct mail. So it was a fun time for him. He was very successful, built the firm up, and then moved to Oak Brook. And our corporate headquarters went from the Civic Opera building in downtown Chicago to Oak Brook. And then we moved to Oak Brook Terrace. And then 8 years ago, I moved the firm to Downers Grove. So I'm a mile away from home, and my commute has gotten what I would call sweet. But to this day, we still we shorten the business name. Everybody knows it as Ebersold Inc. Technically, the full name is still Fred H. Ebersold. But we are doing similar things as he did in October 1932. We're still doing advertising for clients. We're still doing printing and also promotional products today. So things have changed over the years dramatically, but still the core of the business is similar. And for that, as third generation, I'm very proud. My father went on to work, come to work for the firm in 1956 after graduating from U of I, and then I came on in January of 1986. So it's been a great job, great career.
Nice.
What were some of the lessons that you learned from the earlier generations in your business, your dad and your grandpa?
I think my grandfather had a saying, because he passed away before I was able to come to work for the family business, but he used to tell me, if you ever come to work for the family business, remember one thing about working with your clients. Spend their money as if it was your own, and we raised you not to be cheap, but to be smart with your money. And that's something that whenever I'm working with clients today, I always am thinking that I never want to not be able to sleep at night. Kind of live by the golden rule. I never want to be taken in business. I don't want to take anybody. It's our reputation that really is important to us. So another thing would be, just to make sure you do a good job and try your hardest. You might make mistakes. Be quick to apologize for those mistakes and make them right if those mistakes ever happen. So, but probably a big thing that happened to me was that I went to work for someone else before I started in the family business. So I found out what the corporate world was like. And that was one of those things that I didn't make a mistake by going to work for the firm right out of college. I went to work for somebody else first. So
what lessons were you able to draw from your corporate experience and apply to your firm now?
That it's really good to, in essence, be your own boss. It's challenging, but I saw how a big corporation can control you, can control your schedule, control when you fly out to Atlanta, to be at meetings on early Monday morning on the East Coast. You're having to fly out Sunday night. Well, all of a sudden that's cutting into your personal time.
Yep.
And then to be delayed at Hartsfield many times, from flying from Augusta to Hartsfield, because I had the Southeast Territory, to be delayed and not get home until late Friday night, missing the softball game with your college buddies, those sorts of things. You just learn that maybe the big corporation isn't for me, that there's better ways to work and be employed. So
I like that. I like that a lot.
Probably one of the biggest things that ever happened to me in my life that was very defining is that I went away to college, screwed up my freshman year, and was sent home. And that was the first time actually I was ever told no, and it meant no. And when Northern told me that they weren't allowing me back in until I got my associate's degree, I'm like, what? But this guy, who I wish I could remember his name out at Northern, he was doing me a favor, because when I got my associate's degree and went back to Northern, I went back as a junior, as a transfer student. My crappy year of not studying and finding I really liked beer a lot, that it put me at a clean slate. And so I was able at an older age to realize what was important, that I was at school to be at school, and in turn, graduating with high 3.6, 3.7 GPA in my major, which was advertising and marketing, that it really was a defining moment that you really needed to take things seriously, work hard, and if you work hard and you learn when to study, when to have fun, that it was really probably a situation that most people wouldn't even admit that they got kicked out of college. But I'm happy to, I'm not happy to admit it, but I'm not afraid to admit it, that it was a defining moment in my life that many people might have just quit. They wouldn't have gone to college, where in turn, when I went back to Northern, I found myself being employed by Miller Brewing Company as one of their campus marketing reps for the whole university. So it was a time where I had to work because my parents were kind of not really wanting to give me much money. So I found this position which was entirely geared towards marketing the campus, marketing for events on campus. So it was a fun, ended up being a great time.
All right, Kevin, I think we can stop this episode now, because that was so many lessons there. My gosh, that was really good, man. Good grief. But what's funny, you did marketing for a beer company on a college campus. I love that. That's crazy.
Well, and I'm old enough to where it was allowed to market to college students, because the whole fact was whatever brand of beer they started was the brand of beer that they were probably going to drink for quite a while.
Sure.
So, but it was a fun time where you had to go meet with the bars. You had to set up the on-premise nights, we called them. My partner in crime out there, Tim O'Brien, who was my coworker, and the other Miller rep, we won our top award for the Midwest region. We won it both years. And in college, that was a $2,500 bonus. That was a lot of money back then. Paid for a lot of schooling back in the 80s.
Nice.
But in turn, today, I'm still involved with Euclid Beverage, who actually employed us by working with the Rotary Club and GrowFest. So I'm still the contact with the club with Euclid Beverage to this day. So it is kind of it's kind of weird how things come full circle.
Nice. It's a great story.
So
That's a great story.
And one of the things that I took out of what you were talking about was, turning failure into, a chance for success. That's something we talked about in our last episode. The biggest lesson I learned in business was to accept that you failed at something, find a way to make an adjustment, and attack again from a different angle rather than just, dropping out of school. And
Right.
you didn't quit. You made an adjustment in your life. And that's probably a big business lesson that you took away from that. When something goes wrong in your business, I'll bet you accept it and make an adjustment at this point.
things are going to go wrong in life, in business, and so I think you have to. I think that what happened to me back when I was 17, 18 years old has had a major impact on the way that I react to failure. That I don't like to fail. None of us like to fail, but yet when we fail, I think recognizing it and moving forward in a direction as to how we can change that, I think it's very beneficial. I think there are people out there that have not failed, and when and if they do fail, and they will, they might not know how to
Oh gosh.
deal with it.
Oh
right?
gosh. Oh yeah. Just to a sidebar there. When I worked for Arthur Anderson, and when it collapsed, I mean it collapsed, and you had these wonderful, talented people that had been with the firm for years. That was their first job out of high school or out of college. A lot of them didn't know what to do. I mean, so yeah.
I have one word for people who might not understand what he just said: Enron.
Yes. Crash and burn.
So you're right. It is, and it's something that I think everybody needs to fail to see how they react. And just because they might react not the best the first time, I think they will learn to get it right.
So if you could go back in time and talk to your younger self when you were just starting out, what nugget of wisdom would you pass on to yourself? What do you do differently than the way you've done it?
I actually think that what happened to me happened for a reason. And I'm not really sure why it happened, except maybe it was that slap in the face at 18 years old that I needed to wake up. You're better than this. You're not going to waste, you've had this chance, you've been put on this earth to be helpful to people, to not be a screw up. And so I think, as easy as it might say, well, I'd like to do this or I'd like to do that, I actually like the way things happened. But I guess one big thing that I got out of that is that when my first son was born, Jack, we waited to start him in school. So instead of him being 17 like I was when he went away to college, he was 19.
A little bit more mature.
And because the fact is that guys aren't as smart as girls.
Amen to that.
And that's a good thing to admit as a guy, to be able to get that out there and just,
Makes life a lot easier once you just go ahead.
Yep.
Say
right.
The daughter and the wife or girl, they're much smarter.
Right.
Just
right.
be done with it.
Right. And so in turn, I think the biggest thing that going back is that, I choose to use the words waited to start Jack in school. We didn't hold him back. My wife and I didn't hold him back because I don't believe in negative talk, negative speak. So waiting to start, the whole thing was, okay, what's the worst thing that could happen if we wait to start him? If he's successful, we're going to say, thank goodness we waited to start him.
Yeah.
If he struggles in school, whether that be 2nd grade, 5th grade, 8th grade, high school, or college, we're going to say, thank goodness we waited to start him. Because if we had started him earlier, he could have really struggled. And in turn, it's been very successful. So
Nice.
For him, so I passed on maybe something that was a negative to me. I passed on to the next generation of Ebersolds and my son, who is thriving at University of Alabama now.
Okay.
So I think going back, that's what I did. If I had to go back, like you asked, I went back and I said, I'm not going to let this happen to my sons. So
I like that lesson because Kevin, if you've noticed, he couldn't really answer the question because he learned so much from the lesson. Going back to give advice is not really an option because he learned the lesson.
Right. He needed to learn that lesson.
I think that question really applies when you keep doing the same silly thing over and over and over and over again. But once you've learned that lesson, why go back? I mean, I like that.
In fact, my mind had a problem going back.
I bet.
I didn't really want to go back.
I bet.
Well, and Tony,
that's really cool. That's cool. Think about that, folks. Just think about that one. That's really cool.
Tony, you and I had a conversation the other day when we were discussing getting this podcast going. I was like, man, I wish I'd thought of this 3 years ago. And you're like, no, you can't do that.
What did I say?
You can't do that to yourself. You weren't ready. You weren't
That's
ready
right.
then. You got to be everything that is past is prelude to this. So, so Kent, tell me, you're in the marketing business. Tell me about kind of your marketing philosophies and a couple tactical and strategic ideas that can be applied by some of our listeners.
When I go into any of our clients who range from small companies to large, very large corporations, I like to go in as an extension of their business, and that I'm an extension of their business, not on their payroll. I'm not an employee. So I can give a very outside perspective on things where I think in a lot of companies, people are trying to make sure their boss is happy, trying to give answers that they think their boss might want to hear, being that company guy. And I come in and my wife has a phrase for me that she just put on my Facebook page that I'm the spoon that stirs the pot. And she said, wow, this is you. And I like to go in and stir the pot because through stirring the pot, you get answers, you get people talking. And so one of our strategies is that we go in, and I always like to look at the way our clients have been doing things and just kind of look to see if there's another way better to do it, maybe a way that they haven't thought about. I think I was instrumental with coming up with O'Flaherty, your community law firm. And it was just around a table at a marketing meeting. And so I think the strategy is not being afraid to throw things out there because some things will stick, some things won't. Now, I used to get a little disappointed when they sometimes wouldn't take my advice, but at the same time, you get over that. As you get older, you realize that things, you're going to throw a lot out there, and it's not all going to stick. And not every idea we throw out there is a great idea. But we're idea guys. We generate ideas. We're not afraid to just throw things out there and look at things from a different perspective. So,
do you get involved with copywriting? You yourself? Do you write copy?
We do write copy. I used to write a lot more.
Okay.
And there's good freelancers out there that if we need copy, a lot of the promotional advertising work that we do is technical writing. So a lot of the all the technical parts of the products that our clients are offering that we're promoting and putting into an ad, basically those are set. So it's pretty easy, a lot of bullet points, or the technical writing has already been done by our clients. So we incorporate that, pull that out into the ads. So, but that is part of writing ads is copywriting.
Okay. Just curious.
In kind of this new age of digital marketing, what are your suggestions to business owners to use print marketing effectively?
A lot of different industries years back cut out their budgets for print. They wanted to go all web-based. They wanted to go all email-based. And what's happening is 10 years ago, O'Flaherty Law might have gotten 15 to 25 pieces of mail a day. They now get, of advertising, they now get maybe 3,
That's fair. Yeah.
Maybe.
Yep.
Okay.
All right.
I am of the belief that print budgets need to come back into companies, not to the extent that they were, because there are so many good things about digital. The content can be changed so quickly. The expense is less. But at the same time, nothing impacts somebody like opening up a letter, opening up an envelope, and reading. So many emails today, I believe, are deleted before even opening. So I'm seeing companies want to go back to postcard, to direct mail. And the thing about direct mail is it's getting so personalized. So people like to be called by name. They like to see their name in print.
Mm-hmm.
It's an ego thing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And so when you can do variable data, which we do, and supply a Excel file to the point where one of a very cool product we offer is a calendar. And every month on that calendar is your client's name that we can incorporate into that photo into a calendar. And I don't know anybody who would get a calendar with their name on it to see their name in clouds or their name on a building that they would throw that away. And in turn, our clients who give those to their clients, logo is very, very faint, small, but the people know who gave it to them. And so I see that companies who are smart are using a digital and print mixture, and that's a key to success today.
One of the things that we came up with when we were in our marketing meeting together, Kent, was to be really active in the community. And that's really, when you did our newsletter, I felt really good about sending it out to people because I wasn't just sending promotional material. What I was sending was invites to events. And I don't mind sending out an e-newsletter that way either, because I'm not invading their personal space. I'm inviting them out to a party.
Right.
And a lot of what our newsletter is just the calendar of our upcoming events, and please join us for this stuff. And, I'm hoping, we'll see how it goes. I'm hoping that that's a little bit more of something that people will pay attention to here's all of our services we offer. Please do business with us.
I would agree. And it takes a while too to get those events out there and to get the response and to let people know that you want to get to know them better. You're having these events to educate them, but also to get to know your clients. And with your tagline that, your community law firm, you've got to put that tagline out there and then back it up.
Right.
That you are a part of the community, that you do care about the community. And in turn, people see that you're genuine. That you want to have these events, you want to get to know them, you want to educate them when you bring in outside speakers. Yeah.
And the one thing I get out of that is your belief that you have to have that online presence, you have to have that print presence, and the one thing you just said is tagline. There's a lot of people out there that need to create a tagline because that's how you interlink everything. They see it in print, then they see it online, and then that just kind of helps lock it in.
Correct.
One of the best things I did when I was starting my business was before I even launched, 3 months before I launched, I sent out a Christmas card to everybody that was on my wedding invite list. Mm-hmm. And that, that's kind of old school, everyone does Christmas cards and something you've got to do, but it drew excitement to, part of the Christmas card was, hey, I've got this law firm coming in March, keep your eyes open for me. And people started calling me and saying, hey, are you open yet? Can I do business with you? Because I sent that Christmas card out to them. People don't throw away Christmas cards.
Right. Nice. And if we had known each other back then, I would have suggested to send out a Thanksgiving card.
Sure.
Because a Thanksgiving card is a perfect time of the year. Not that you did anything wrong by sending out that Christmas card and it worked for you. But today, I think companies need to send out Thanksgiving cards.
That's what we did this year.
Yeah, because it's a perfect time of the year to say thank you. And truly, you're thankful for the business that they give you or however you know those people that you're sending the card to. So I truly believe that Thanksgiving is that time where people remember receiving that card because not too many people send Thanksgiving cards. And when Christmas cards come out, so many people have 2 weeks left of vacation and
That's
use
right.
it or lose it. We've all heard that term, use it or lose it. They're gone. So it's very that's an awesome. Glad you did that this year.
That's actually a good idea there. I'd never thought about it, but getting a Christmas card from a company seems kind of impersonal. As I'm thinking that through, it's like, I don't really, please, come on. Now, if I got it Thanksgiving, there's context that makes perfect sense. This be thankful.
Yep.
I like that.
And we
like
also
that a lot.
suggest that you can add the, that you have a happy holiday season, ahead too, as far as Thanksgiving.
Sure.
So you can kind of do a dual purpose, but it definitely gets opened. And I will say this, that when we first did our Thanksgiving cards, we were doing work with Index Futures downtown that no longer, they got bought out. But it was interesting. The week after Thanksgiving, I went down, and the 5 people that I sent the Thanksgiving card to within the firm, they all had it on their desk. And when I walked by their office, they all commented, "Thank you so much for the Thanksgiving card. That really was nice." Now, Christmas cards, not so much. But Thanksgiving cards, it really hits home that you're thankful for their business and the friendships. So.
I'm writing that one down.
One of the other things I learned from you, Ken, and working with you was to make sure that whatever you're giving out to people is actually something that they'll value. For example, when we did our Flaherty Law pens, it was your idea to put a stylus on the tip that would write on, pads, basically,
right,
iPads and stuff like that. It's something that they actually want. You don't want to just hand out tchotchkes. You want to give, something valuable, like, a magnet with a calendar on it, something they can actually use.
Correct. Yes. One of our phrases is, recommend promotional products that work, that make an impact, that people will use, that people will keep. And there's so many people who want to go online and get this item, but we are consultants for our clients with our promotional products. And that goes back to originally what I talked about with my grandfather. Said, spend your client's money as if it was your own. And there have been times where I have a recommendation from a client that they want to do this, they want to order this product, and I say, "Why do you want to do that?" And I actually talk them out of doing that item, but then I make suggestions on what might work for them better. And for that, they're thankful, because I'm not an order taker. We're not order takers. We are consultants for the marketing, printing, and promotional products of business. And when you take that role, we show that we care more, that we are here to serve our clients. And to me, now, a company that doesn't add a stylus, and
they're just a-holes, right?
He said it.
Well, I've got one right here for castor oil that we do. And why have they ordered 1,000, 1,000, 1,000, 1,000? Because they work.
They're useful.
And people use them, and they don't throw them out. So in turn, that's just, one idea that I have a hard time selling a pen today without a stylus, because who don't without an iPhone or an iPad or some touch screen? And so, and then you still have the pen too.
Yep.
So
I like that, because it's like, that's dual purpose, and your whole concept is really taking a marketing piece. Yeah, marketing's important, but content. The content of that piece is equally important to the other person that's going to be receiving it. Right. And it sounds like you just kind of get into the minds of everybody, and then come up with this unique thing, like and that's good.
And when we talk to our clients, who is this going to? Who are you going to hand this out to? Who is this ad going to be seen by? Who do you want to give these